What's up, all you charming guys, gals, and non-binary pals? We're back, round 3 of today. This time around, we're going to be having 2 games back to get back, and we're going to be starting off with United War Unicorns against the Flash Forces. With me, once again, my usual co-host, Brady. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Hour break needed. But yeah, let's get straight into it, man. Like what are your expectations for this draft? Have you had time to have a look at these players
I did have a little bit of
what are your
time to look at
thoughts?
them, and I think that there's a lot of turmoil going on in the Flash Forces, whereas in the United War Unicorns, I don't see them playing much together either. Only pretty recently I see them really play together as a 5-man core,
Mhm.
and that is something that we have to look out for. Maybe that practice comes in through scrims.
Mhm. Obviously we
However,
can't see it.
we will have to see. And there's a lot of changes that happened with the Flash Forces, as I had mentioned before.
Mhm.
What do you expect to see coming out today?
I mean, looking at first the Flash Forces, I think they have a lot of flexibility in terms of what roles they're gonna play. I know that they haven't necessarily been together for the longest of times, but I think between them they can definitely output quite a strong standing team. But again, I think that a lot of them duo role, so I wouldn't be surprised to see someone play a role that we just didn't expect, right? And in terms of the unicorns, again, I don't know how long they've been playing for, but I think you can definitely see a much stronger like structure to who's gonna go where and what type of champions we're gonna be seeing. But I think generally we're gonna maybe be seeing an enchanter in the bot lane for the war unicorns. Whereas I think the flash forces are definitely will go on the aggressive and look for some more engage options.
Engage options versus enchanters. That has sort of been the story that we have told a couple of times already in the Supreme League Europe here. That is something that has really characterized the couple of games that, or the handful of games that we've had so far. And we're going to be really seeing the development of that, and I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be one of the aspects that we're going to have, that we're going to learn throughout the course of this league, which makes me so excited in general. Um, yeah, I think draft is only moments away at the moment. Said
True.
that
I
twice.
think we're just getting ready to go straight into the draft here. But what are you first picking, right? What are the priority picks here? For let's start with the unicorns, the war unicorns. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling Xin Zhao. I think Xin Zhao is too strong to just give up at the moment. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
there are other S tier junglers.
I
That's
agree.
what
I
I'm
think
feeling.
The Zinzao would be really good. I think. I mean, maybe if Zinzao gets banned, maybe a volley bear might be a good look in the jungle for them. But something that's gonna have pressure early game, I think we can expect to see. And then, do you think there are any going to be good priority picks for the flash forces? What do you think they're gonna really look to prioritize?
Well, I think that we see a lot of priority on these counter picks. Um, Interestingly enough, a lot of the time when top lane gets counter picked, the later pick actually loses the matchup. So, did we see blue side win twice today? No. TLC won today.
Mm-hmm. Look, the
But
only
that
thing that's
was a
been
counter pick. That was a
consistent,
counter pick from the
yeah,
blue side there. Yeah.
but the only consistency we've seen today is don't dive an Ornn.
True. That has
That's
actually been super consistent. Tell me some.
pretty.
Do we have like a little bit of stats for that? Did you look up any percentages on like dive
Well,
successes?
there've only been 2 dive attempts on the Ornn today, and
Okay.
I think he has a 100% 1v2 success rate as a dive. He comes out ahead 100% of the time. He's really a menace in the top lane today.
Don't dive the Orn. Just don't do it.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's a learning experience for sure, but yeah, I don't know if diving a level 6 Ornn is the smartest of ideas.
Well, sometimes even in a losing matchup, you see that the Ornn actually manages to secure a kill in a situation where he really shouldn't have. As I believe that draft has now commenced, so we can switch over.
Has it?
I did see some movement in draft, so I
Some
believe.
movement. I think
Okay,
we're having technical difficulties at the moment.
okay.
The draft link seems to be broken, so we're just working to get a second one set up.
All right, all right, all right.
Smooth that all out. But yeah, I'm good. I'm excited for this. I'm really interested to see the lane assignments for the Flash Forces. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Do you
But
think that they've stacked up in the order that they are actually going to play? Or do
I
you
think
think it's
so.
also draft dependent for them?
True, because look, we all know like you get into draft and then suddenly you decide that hey guys, I think someone else's champ pool is better suited to being top here, so you just swap around in draft. And I think that's definitely an option for them. But I think generally speaking, you don't want to give away too much, right? This is
Hmm.
just game one. You don't want to give away like your pocket picks and your pocket team comps and swaps, you know. So I don't expect to see anything too crazy. So I assume that they've lined up accordingly.
Are there any consistent players, some people that maybe only play one role on the Flash Forces that we can be sure are going to be situated in that role?
I think their captain, 100%, Dr. Barrow, he's going to be situated in the top lane. And I think Dutch as well he's been pretty consistent for them in the jungle I've seen. But as a whole, there's definitely a world where Road to Eternity might end up going top. But it's to be seen. I don't know if Barrow supports much, but yeah.
Well, that also kind of correlates with the general turmoil that we have seen from Flash Forces, and sometimes a lot of chaos in a game of League of Legends actually
Mhm.
makes you come out on top.
True.
So I've opened the new draft link. All right, and we're straight into
All
picks
right,
already.
that
We're
was
already
great.
3 bans deep as we see the Trundle, Caitlyn, Yumi coming out from the side of the United War Unicorns, and the Flash Forces answer with the Viego, Garen, and Seraphine bans. Then War Unicorns actually decide to go for the first pick set here.
Set.
So no
Now,
jungler picked up in first rotation.
set. Is he going top, mid, or support? That's the question.
That is the question. So we talked about flexing in terms of Flash Forces, but now the first pick that United War Unicorns have locked in for themselves are so
Hmm.
obviously already a turbo flex.
True. I think it's probably going to be in the top lane. And as expected, the Nautilus lock in. We can see some hard engage coming out immediately from the Flash Forces. They don't like to mess around.
Well, they're already giving set a target to ult though. That has to be
True.
recognized. I find it
Sets.
I find it just interesting to see. I mean, obviously there's no real danger usually coming out from that, but it's just funny to see like, oh, the enemy picks a set. Well, let's just lock in a big guy, and there is a Kaisa first rotation for Flash Forces, feeling very uncomfortable with the champions left up for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and really prioritizing that.
The Kaisen, that is a one shot. That is an all in bot if ever I've seen one. You do not want to get caught out by these two.
Yeah. Well, but there are a ton of answers in the current metagame to this
Oh
bot
yeah.
lane. This is really what the metagame has evolved into, right? This metagame is basically the remainder of the last one, which is like, how do we deal with those Kaisers? And as I say that, we are just
Oh, the
going
Morgana.
straight back down, and they
What a
lock
good pick.
in the Tristana Morgana.
I
All
mean,
right.
this kind of takes Nautilus out of the early game completely, right? You
Yeah.
got Morgana. It's just a hard counter. But I mean, we'll see what they can do. Maybe they can get like a level 1 or a level 2 first, the priority, and they just go for it from there.
And we now do see the hover over the first jungle
Great.
pick of this game, unless there's some Morgana jungle shenanigans, which
Ah!
I think we've been rescued from by the almighty overlords. And as I say that, I have been way too high fee because someone will dive this Ornn and they
Mm,
shouldn't.
100% pick rate so far. Let's see how it goes. But yeah,
What does Ornn do that gives it such a high priority? Why do people really like to gravitate towards the Ornn?
Well, I feel like it guarantees you late game, and he's a champion. Ornn, with his cooldowns being so short, he can actually surprise people sometimes with the amount of damage he has. And obviously the W is just super useful, but I don't know if I'd be picking it into set personally. But hey, maybe he thinks he can survive the lane pretty well and should be good late game insurance.
That is actually a great point. It's not just a blind Ornn. It's once
Yes.
again someone counter picking top lane, and once again an unfavorable matchup that they're picking themselves into.
Oh, the Yasuo ban. They're scared of like the Diana Yas or something.
That does not look that, or that would not sound like a bad comp here
Yeah.
for the side of the Flash Forces.
Now, we saw the Graves hover, right? And now there's actually a very good chance that that might be a Graves mid. I know I've seen that popping up quite a lot
Really?
recently, and I know their mid laner has it in his locker, so he might pull it out.
And it
Oh,
does actually get locked in here. Now, if this is a Graves
we will
jungle,
see.
I'm really liking Ryze here. I think Ryze would be an
Mhm.
amazing pick together with that Graves or a Syndra.
I think yeah, it
Alternatively,
has.
go on.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say it has to be an AP pick, right?
Let's
That's
hope that they draft this way. We are not sure
yeah,
what to expect from these teams yet, but let's just hope that there is some sort of magic damage threat that actually comes
true.
in from the side
Yeah.
of Flash Forces. And here was the Jarvan. Oh,
The
I've been waiting for
Jarvan.
this. Jarvan got a huge buff. I think Jarvan
Mm,
is back. I think
I
Jarvan is
think so
back,
too.
baby.
I think that ulti buff, the AD ratio, and what it was his
The
passive, right?
passive. Oh, from
My
8 to
God,
10%. Are you kidding me?
that's the buff. Into the
That's huge.
Victor.
And this is a blind pick Victor mid lane, unless they're expecting the Graves to be mid lane, which, as you said, could be a possibility. Now, I do like the Victor into Graves, but there are quite a lot of other picks that are
Hmm.
quite good into Victor. So, let's see your big brain come true here, and let's see them lock in an AP jungler here.
But what AP junglers are meta? The Diana's open,
Diana.
maybe Rumble or
And
the
it is the
Echo.
Echo. Okay, well, your brain has helped once again, and it is too big to even comprehend. So, let's look at these comps a little bit more holistically, as we have
Hmm.
our usual in between time.
But like, that still could be an Echo mid. I don't
That
think
could
it's
be.
super meta at the moment. I
Mm.
think it should be a Graves mid, but like,
Isn't it crazy that we live in a world where we're expecting Graves mid over Echo mid?
I know, right? But just like Lethality Graves mid, just the presence that he has, his
It's
wave clear is
legit.
nuts.
It's
And he just
legit.
one shot people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if we talk about wave clear, then I don't think that is the correct comparison to make because
yeah.
Echo's wave clear is insanity.
But Echo's jungle clear early on is not the best. I feel like we're
Indeed.
gonna see a lot of ganks with the Echo and the Jarvan trying to look for those early snowball options with both having reasonably okay ganks. Jarvans are a lot better than Echoes.
I think Echo, although there are some camps that are pretty tough for him to do, there's a lot
Hmm.
of camps that he also does pretty well because he gets a good Echo gets to utilize his passive very well on these camps, and in a first game of a tournament that is going to determine the entire rest of the tournament for you, which division you're going to be playing in.
Yeah.
I do expect there to be some sort of big comfort pick that you're going to pick yourself into because this is really what it comes down to. These may just be the first 3 games, but there are
Hmm.
3 games that will sort of define the rest of your tournament life.
Do you think there are gonna be any level 1 shenanigans this game?
Absolutely not. I think these teams are terrible level 1.
Really?
I
I
think
think
Morgana is really good, but other
yeah.
than that, I guess Set's pretty good too.
Set E start, I think or maybe he goes W, something like that.
Yeah, but from the side of Flash Forces, they're going to be avoiding that. Like,
Yeah, I
Echo
think Flash
is
Force.
absolutely awful level 1. Graves is a nightmare. Nautilus is really
Oh,
good.
is it gonna be the Echo mid, the Graves jungle?
Well, that is what this is indicating at the moment. That would be quite interesting. But you have mentioned before that they do have that flexibility
Hmm.
also in the positions that they play. Now, we're not quite sure whether that is between these 2 players. However, Does
What do you
not
think?
have to be the most meta champion that you play. I talked a little bit before about how I think that comfort is the number one thing. And I know that there are a lot of people that have played a lot of Echo mid lane. And he might think it's really good into Victor. And at some levels, I do agree with that. I think the matchup is significantly better for the Echo than it is for the Graves.
I mean, I feel like Echo, obviously range v melee, he's gonna have that early priority, which I think
Who? Who
could
does?
be the victor. No,
Really? No, I don't think so at all. I
I
think Echo
mean,
just perma shoves with Q. I think Echo
yeah,
Q is so broken on the minion wave.
sure. I mean, my mid matchups aren't that great
Okay, okay.
for what
Well,
I'm here to play.
there are some Echo builds in the past where you would
Hmm.
literally one shot the wave at level one. It was the backline at least. It was pretty crazy.
I mean,
However, that's not quite the case anymore, and that has obviously been tuned down. But
hmm.
the amount of damage that you can consistently deal to that wave is so much higher than Victor. What Victor can do, it's pretty crazy. And then I think that Echo has the tools to effectively trade with the Victor as well. Because Victor
Hmm.
really loves to use the little bit of extra range that he typically has, plus the movement speed that he gets, or
Yeah,
with the way that he slows you down. However, Echo counteracts that in a lot of ways. Not
I
only
mean,
does
his
he gain
that.
movement speed from his passive, even
Yeah.
on the early stages of the game, but also his range extension on the E makes him actually insanely far. Makes his effective range actually insanely far, and he can get a lot of little trades where he just trades maybe a Q proc, an E, and then an auto attack after the E, and he actually wins that trade super hard
I'm
into the Victor.
I'm seeing some swapping here. They're gonna put the set mid into the Echo, play the victor against the Ornn.
Well, that would completely nullify what we have just been talking about, and that would
I
be a very
know.
interesting adaptation, one that I would like to see, one that I would like to observe, because I think that the set, on the other hand, has a really good matchup into the Echo, because the Echo can't just dance around the set.
Hmm.
And then, I mean,
Victor
Victor
and
versus
Ornn.
Orin is kind of
It's
sleeper,
a
to be
nothing
honest.
lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bit of a sleeper lane up
So
there.
that being said, where are we expecting our junglers? Are we expecting early pressure from the Jarvan? I assume so, right?
I
Where do you
hope
want to
so.
see him? You want
I
to see him
hope for
bot,
level
mid,
2 gank.
level two? You want a level two
I
gank?
want a level
Okay.
2 gank. I have not seen enough level 2 ganks. Junglers have been too afraid to actually come out of the jungle. We saw it on the
Mhm.
Xin Zhao earlier, and I think it is going to be a repeat in a lot of ways.
I mean, both the Trist and the Set have some pretty big snowball potential in their
And
lanes.
also very good like gank setup, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, Especially together with the Jarvan, these two lanes, bot and mid, if that is a set mid lane, actually function
Hmm.
really, really well. On the other hand, the Graves can actually look to power clear his jungle because a Jarvan does not interrupt what a Graves wants to do in a lot of
Hmm.
cases. So that there is a very high likelihood that there could be at least one Scuttle Crab secured for the Graves. Now, what we
But
have to see is who gets that early bot lane priority, right? You talked earlier a little bit about like how good this one-shot bot lane is from the Flash Forces. And then we saw the answer of the Morgana, which nullifies that in a lot of ways. Do you think that they still can achieve that priority?
if if the Tristana has faith in Alice, I think it's super realistic that Triss can just get in their face a lot. But I think in terms of just like general ebb and flow of the lane, like it's still gonna be on the Nautilus to go in, and Morgana can't really contest him super hard. She can get some good poke in though, and if they manage to poke him out, I think they can definitely take control of that lane.
What are some other lanes that you expect to be taken control on?
Uh, God, top lane. I mean, I think
Slightly
I
winning
don't
for the victor, kinda,
maybe.
because he's just
Yeah,
bullying him, outranging him. But then again, bullying an Ornn is always a question, not just because of how tanky he naturally is, but the ability to buy items in a lane is super
yeah. I
valuable.
think a lot of the balls are in Mythical's court as far as who who hard like who has priority and what he wants to do
Yeah.
because I think it's safe to assume that his pressure and his presence early, he should make himself known. While, Dutch on Graves, he just wants to farm it up probably. Look to get himself big and pick up free kills. The Jarvan's really gonna level two, level three, all the way up. Like he just wants to fight, right?
Let's put ourselves in a scenario where we're at the first dragon. It's been pretty even so far. There's not been many kills in terms of either side. Who would you expect around the first objective to come out on top?
Ooh, that is a really, really good question. Um, Gosh, I would expect. Honestly, I think if they play it well, I think Tristana Morgana should have prio in bot for most of the lane. So come first, Drake. I want to see the Jarvan maybe looking to force a fight or looking to turn because early on, I definitely believe the War Unicorns they've got all like the cards, you know. They got the Victor late game top. He's sitting up on his island, but as for the other four of them, like they want to fight, you know. And I feel like that's super important.
Do you think that that early stacking of the dragons in general is something that is important? In our last game, we saw that I think it was Crown of the Ruined King actually managed to secure themselves 3 of the dragons, but then fell behind basically all over the
True.
other map.
I mean, yes, and I think that the Crown of the Ruined King were right to try and stack dragons. They stack drakes. You've got an Olaf, but I feel like again, like for this game in particular, it's all about what Jarvan can do in the early game for his team. Like if he's a presence in the game, I think his mid and bot lane should be ahead enough to take prio, and then maybe they can go and look to force a fight around dragon or something if the enemy team decides to contest it.
Well,
But
we have
yeah.
loaded officially now into the game. The players are dropping from the skies. They're buying their first items, starter items across the board, and we will actually now get to see whether there are level 1 shenanigans, as we're already seeing two blobs of players walk out on the map, and 2, the lane assignments that will follow. Number 3, the third thing that we will see is jungle starts. But where do we start? We start with point number 1, and that means that we will observe what these blobs of players will do. We see a very defensive start here from the United War Unicorns that are prepared for that aggressive level 1 that the Flash Forces are willing to take. This is a
I
beautiful bush to be expecting the level 1 in, and this could lead to an absolute bloodbath. We're going to click on the set here. He has skilled the E level 1.
yes,
This is exactly what they're looking for. They're walking face forwards into bush. 4-man pullback. The Morgana binding lance, but there is a 5-man knockup from the Ornn. That changes the fight tremendously. Now the Echo falls as the third member of the fight. Grace, also incredibly low, drops. Now the Kaiser trying to run away, trying to maybe kill the set on the back end, but does not manage to do so. And that is 4 kills for the United War Unicorns at level 1.
You cannot face check a set. I mean, I know that they didn't know, but that Jarvan warding his Tribrush there sets his team up so beautifully for that fight level 1. Like the enemy team were dead before they knew it.
The sheer communication of that was absolutely beautiful. They knew from the start, from the get-go, that there might be a possibility for that level 1, and they knew how good their own level 1 was. Now, what does happen is they do actually spot the Jarvan on that ward. No level 2 gank, by the way. I'm small disappointed. Nautilus
Great.
waiting in here in the bush, and the binding misses. This actually puts a lot of pressure on the Tristana here. The Kai'Sa passive being procced, that does force out the flash. So, Shahara finds herself without any summoner spells left.
Well played by the Nautilus. I mean, as soon as Morgana misses his Q, I mean, Nautilus level 1 is... You don't want to mess with him. He got 2 CCs. My god. Good
Well,
answer, though. Good answer.
And now they hit level 2 way before them. This time around, the binding does connect, and the Echo finds himself the level 2 first as well. So the early laning phase do actually go over in favor of the Flash Forces here. But how can the gold be utilized and the pressure that the United War Unicorns have secured themselves?
I mean, I think it's interesting that Jarvan is going for a 5 camp here. I don't mind it. It's fine. But I'd really like to see him getting, in lanes, getting some good ganks off. But,
There is
maybe he
one
feels
world where I see that this is actually a good move, and that is the world where he tries to deny the Graves the Scuttlecrab because he's anticipating the pathing. We do see the Jarvan actually pathing up towards the top side as the Ornn
Spot it
just
out.
dashes out and the situation is diffused. Now, Graves' pathing is very critical here because he is not respecting that the Jarvan might be waiting for him there. So, we see the Jarvan already starting up and dissipating the shield of the Scuttle Crab. Graves doesn't have Smite. He's walking into the Scuttle Crab without Smite. He's already starting to contest, but Jarvan just smites it, and he's going to get away. Echo has actually got the first rotate, but Jarvan will just like EQ over the wall, and he's out.
Yep.
This is one Scuttle Crab already. Now, if the United War Unicorns are using their pressure properly here, they shove the wave, they insta-rotate for that Scuttle Crab. Maybe they should even do it 10 seconds beforehand. Now, that does actually mean that Grace walks back into his jungle. Second Scuttle still available. He's doing the Krugs at the moment. Not the Krugs, the Raptors.
It's important to note that Graves actually didn't get a leash this level 1.
Big engage up here towards the top side. An auto and a Q is enough to kill the Victor here, but he does manage to survive as we see another gauge down in the bot side. Kai'Sa flashes forward, but the minion blocks the W, so the Void Seeker will not actually find the passive proc, and there will be no kill for the Kai'Sa. Flash now down for the Kai'Sa as well, as Tristana is still trying to recover hers. However, a lead in the lane in general being secured. Now the gravity field from the Victor comes out as he's trying to get away from that Ornn, and a lot of trading from the Echo onto the set here, who does drop, but still that it is quite a lot of HP that the Echo is missing now, and the Jarvan just comes in here and swag flags the Echo out of this. Set flashes backwards, but does not actually get away from the Prey Seeker, so Void Seeker, Prey Seeker, Kai'Sa
God. This game is all action, oh my god.
Look who got the second Scuttle Crab down here. That is a Blue Lantern, another Scuttle. So this guy got double scuttled on Graves. Oh, I mean, no mana for the Victor here. He does flash out. Barrow finding the flash on his own. Now the binding does connect onto the Nautilus here, which does actually mean that there could be a lot of damage traded back. But they do choose to go for the more defensive maneuver and respect Kai'Sa damage.
Well, I think this game, Jarvan has definitely been... I mean, the level 1 had a pretty major part to play, but I think the Graves got put so far behind level 1 that, I mean, he was pretty much forced to give up top crab because he had to smite for HP early on. So
I think disagree with that. I think
really?
that the pathing was just not good from the Graves. He saw the Jarvan start on the bot side. He must have been expecting him to take the more direct pathing. The Black Shield here is a little bit late.
But yeah, I think blue side are in exactly where they want to be. This is more than a great position for them. Victor has 2 kills. The Trist has a kill. The Set has a kill. But yeah.
Well, it does look like a bit of a rough lane down in bot. So they're already down a couple of CS, and we can really see the pressure and priority coming out here. So this is the one point of attack that I do see for the Flash Forces at this current point in time. Echo also moving down, actually putting a control ward in the pit of the Infernal Dragon. Jarvan being down here as well, as we have a pause. We have the first pause, first day, first pause. It is what it is.
Also, just to mention, we were talking about the Set versus Echo lane. That's a 20 CS lead in 6 minutes. I think the Echo is really doing work to keep himself in the game and to make sure. Like, he's also a level up. He's really in the driver's seat in this lane, despite the early question mark from the team right there.
Yeah. Well, you are right, because we have actually seen how effective the Echo traits have been on the set so far. However, it is not actually eked out to find the kill. And in that one situation where it was just super close, the Jarvan came in and actually did the hero move of not only smiting the Scuttle Crab, but then also killing the Echo just before he was able to finish off the set.
If this lane, or this game... Oh, we're back in. Never mind.
Are we?
Are we?
This is weird. Okay, well...
Spectator tools.
Right, just doing Riot things.
Small indie company doing what they do best.
Well, we are gonna have to try to figure out what is actually going on here. Maybe this does help us?
Perhaps.
Unpause? Okay, well, it looks like we're clean.
Okay.
Sometimes all you have to do is a little bit of wiggling around, and it's good. The Jarvan is alone in the pit. What happened here? Echo flashes over the wall. Has already 2 passive procs, but does not actually get the 3rd one. Now the Jarvan flashless is not actually able to... Or is he? Dragon resets. Set TPs in here. But the facebreaker does not actually connect to at anyone. The Graves does manage to secure the dragon, but the Echo without ult will just die. Now the Nautilus also being caught out here does mean that there's 2 kills already for the United War Unicorns. Kai'Sa finding herself on the blast cone will manage to get out. So that is a dragon for 2 kills as we see more trading up towards the top side. This time the Victor has the Gravity Storm available, but the Oran Horn comes in and just finishes off the kill. Jarvan will find himself the blue buff as an answer.
Oran has been so potent in these games recently. I feel him. He's winning lanes where he really shouldn't be winning them. But hey, full credit to the Oran players this tournament. They're repping the boy.
Well, I asked earlier, why is there such a high priority? And I think this game is once again a pretty good demonstration on why it is. Because they did actually pick that Victor into the Ornn deliberately. This is not some last minute decision of, oh, let's just swap the Victor up here. This Victor was picked into the Ornn after the first pick set. Now, I do like the first pick set if it's going mid. He does not actually get the stun on the Facebreaker there. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Looked a little bit weird from the angling. But that means that he loses out on that trade.
Sorry. If this game goes 20-30 minutes, I think, is there a turning point for Red Team where it's like, cool, we've reached a certain point. I think the Ornn item, the Graves, they're strong enough now to see this game off? Or do you think as the game goes on, it only gets worse with this lead?
I don't think that there is many avenues where I see a clear scaling advantage in League of Legends in the current modern time. Because in this game as well, there are ways in which teams can set themselves up in such a manner that they actually manage to secure leads when they shouldn't. So that could be either in the later stages or in the earlier stages. We now see the Renekton transformed into a late-game team-fighting bruiser from what was basically a useless blob of meat earlier, as the Jarvan actually finds the Echo and the Graves here, which does give his Victor a little bit of leeway to actually escape from that gank attempt. Morgana has left her Tristana down alone in the bot lane, as the cannon minion will die outside of the XP range of that Tristana.
They know the Morgana's not there. There are pings. Maybe Road to Eternity looking for a flash hook play before she gets back. Because they don't know
but the Morg is back already, and she is revealed by throwing that binding out as well.
Game's calmed down a little bit. Red Team doing a very good job of getting themselves back into this game. The gold lead is only 600 gold at the moment.
Very good find. But where is the gold situated for both teams? Tristana is 0, 2, and 4 and is down 300 gold. As a hook hits in mid lane onto the set, who then will get stunned by the Echo, but the Jarvan is here to try to clean up. And what a beautiful cataclysm. That Jarvan, man. Holy moly.
The only issue I see with this Jarvan is he can ult Echo, right? But Echo can ult out. He can ult Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa can ult out. They have a lot of
you can ult Graves, and Graves can ult out.
He can just get out. Like they're very mobile. So unless you're really one-shotting him with Jarvan plus Cataclysm, it's not gonna be.
Indeed, but the Echo actually finds himself into a super aggressive position here after such a nice W. And I think that is where we see the comfort coming in. Yes, the Echo has already dropped 3 times, but we see in the way that he lanes that there is a great amount of comfort. So if he can find his footing, find his groove, then there is still absolutely a way that the team that is currently down on kills but up in gold can find the win here.
Red Team are actually ahead in gold now. I'm very, very impressed at what I'm seeing here. But yeah, they're going to get a Rift Herald off of this, and we're just going to see where they're going to put it.
Well, they're laning better in every single lane so far, and that is making the difference.
CS leads across the board, even at support.
Even in the jungle that we had been so critical of, as there is an all-in down in the bot lane. 2v2 is there. Macro and Micro, and they find the kill. Finally, some more advantages coming out here for the United War Unicorns. But that is all that there will be for now.
I mean, this is what happens, right? That's just Morgana doing what Morgana does best.
And the
She goes in.
exhaust, super critical.
Yeah,
And
that was a
actually
great
didn't do it. It actually didn't do enough.
True. It just I think Kai'Sa went in a bit prematurely
Hmm.
before, everything was in the bag. But
Also, a critical miss on the Void Seeker.
yes, again, she's been a bit unlucky with those this game. Blocked by
Very true.
minions, or just misses.
This time it flew through the stopwatch.
Good
Which,
stopwatch.
oh, the stopwatch. Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah.
how good the stopwatch was here. And
That was really,
finally,
really well played.
UWU find themselves the first dragon of the game, and we will be having a Mountain Rift. And a Mountain Rift, we have to say, that really favors the Flash Forces here.
True. Any sort of little chokes that has an Ornal, that has an Echo W written all over it.
And then the Dragon Soul, holy smokes.
Oh yeah. We hear another Mountain Soul.
Indeed we do. Pretty
Mountain
sturdy.
Soul's just flavor of the day, I guess.
Maybe flavor of the league. I know that the LCK, they get Cloud Souls all the time. Maybe we get Mountain Souls all the time.
Hey, I'll take Mountain Soul. It's one of the best ones.
It's not Cloud Soul.
That's right. Looking for a
Well,
dive
they're
here.
looking for a dive here, and they're actually not successful so far, as the Ornhorn does connect, and the Graves actually super low, flashes away from the Victor here, but now the Victor is in a lot of danger coming out from the Echo. On the bottom side, however, the Nautilus finds himself caught, as the Echo finally finds the kill onto the Victor up in the top side. Now, on the bottom side, they find the kill on the Nautilus in return, but they will probably take that on the side of the Flash Forces. Set now meeting face to face with the Frashish Graves, and he does not predict the W correctly, so he actually lands a nice W that was 180 degrees from where the Graves was initially, and trying to predict it, he moves directly into it. This man got outplayed.
True. That was a great W from the set. Also, it was a great cross map as well for blue side. They're like, hey, look, they're trying to dive. They're all top. Our jungler's bot. Let's go make a play.
We wanted explosive games. Then we
Yeah.
wanted games with scaling 80 carries, and this time we asked for an even game, and these teams are absolutely going head to head in ways that we weren't even anticipating. Now the Kai'Sa is walking forward aggressively after the Morgana binding has dissipated, and I believe I'm having a bit of a statistical error in seeing the Tristana stats, because that seems to be an error 404.
I mean, I find it very interesting that the Flash Forces are actually putting a lot of resources into this Ornn. They find themselves top quite a lot, and I mean, this is the first time I've seen strong side Ornn, so I'm kind of he's up a level. He's up 10
He
CS.
got the turret.
He
Turret
got
is
first
dead.
blood tower. Like, who knows, man? This guy's gonna hit 14 ASAP, and I think
It's interesting, but I really think that there could be more pressure put down towards the bot side, because I think with more resources, these guys could really, really run away with the game. I said earlier, that I think that this is actually the point where they could look to retrieve some pressure, and that's why they just find themselves a 2v2 kill. Finally some resources, and some more resources. We asked for them, and here are both of the TPs from the Flash Forces. Another kill for the Kai'Sa here, and the Jarvan goes down yet again. We praised him, but that is his third death, and maybe his third death in a row even. This is not looking good. There is danger mode, and there's a 2,000 gold lead now for the Flash Forces.
I mean, we said it right. Put resources bot lane. They're like, you know what, guys? We got you. Double TP bot, double kill for the Kai'Sa. Like,
Hell yeah.
are they in call? Are they listening to us?
Oh
I don't
no.
know.
Maybe we're getting stream sniped.
But yeah, that's what I really like to see. Honestly, that like, because an Ornn, when he's ahead or when he's behind, you're kind of getting the same thing, right? But I think it's super important for Kai'Sa to be ahead in this kind of a game.
Oh, the Nautilus doesn't actually interrupt the
Kai'Sa has
recall, and
ult
Kai'Sa
here.
actually ults forward and just gets a solo kill.
Whoa.
Oh,
From no
yikers.
resources to 420, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. These guys are absolutely blazing through this game at the moment.
Another Echo top roam. Interesting.
And
I
Ornhorn,
like-
this guy is dead.
he's done. Yeah.
Maybe this is not to give the Ornn kills. Maybe this is like the desperate attempt for the Echo to find himself resources, because he can't find them in mid lane with the solo kills. Oh, Nautilus actually spotted out by the J4. Walks forward, gets the red buff proc, and does the 10% damage.
the Flash Forces have turned this game up a gear.
Yeah.
They're really starting
And
to run
they're
away with it.
starting to kick off, but that might be a
Oh,
little bit more than they can chew.
sad that it goes to the Morgana, but Echo actually goes in there without his ulti. Maybe he doesn't realize that the Jarvan
Oops.
and the Morgana are there, but hey,
Not just without his ulti, also no flash.
yeah, I mean,
I
an
think you're...
interesting choice.
Oh, the man, this Jarvan just
Are they
blocked the
going?
Void Seeker. I'm
Oof.
impressed.
Yeah,
He lives, he lives.
only
No
barely.
Kai'Sa ult. They didn't
Oh,
Nautilus
yeah.
ult this, which is pretty interesting.
Very good rotations. They're like, hey, let's take our two strongest members, the Ornn and the Kai'Sa. Let's put them mid. Let's get the tower.
Let's not just put him mid, let's put him where we actually have experienced some weakness. It's not just about rotating your bot lane, mid lane. It's about finding advantages in positions that you usually couldn't. And now he has the WTP actually coming out from the United War Unicorns. Zed finding a lot of damage on the Nautilus, but no one quite falling yet. And meanwhile, the Kai'Sa is just 1v1ing the Trist.
Solo
Another
kill.
solo kill. This is the second one. And they find the second kill as well for the Kai'Sa. Can they find the third? As they do lose the Dragon. Kai'Sa now being engaged on by the Morgana. Flashes away from it as the Victor falls in the backlines. This time around, the Jarvan does actually manage to pick up the Kai'Sa, but they all will fall in the end. And this will be an ace for the Flash Forces. And now are they not only up 5k in gold, but they've even managed to secure the kill lead, which is very inconsequential, but they were down a lot.
What a turnaround from down like 1k to being up 5 in a matter of like 12, 13 minutes.
They flipped the game level 1 and now they're winning.
Yeah. I think somehow the pressure they put in top translated into a bot lead super well. I just think the rotations have been great. I think they're catching the United War Unicorns out, left, right, catching them rotating, and now they're really starting to
Maybe
get away
we can
with this one.
start to investigate more of the vision setup that they actually have managed to secure for themselves. Because maybe that's how they actually find their advantages.
I'm seeing one ward on the side
Well, the
of
Morgana is actually getting engaged on by the Nautilus here, and the Kai'Sa follows up with
Oh.
the ult, and whoop, Morgana gone.
this Kai'Sa is very strong right now. She has her Q upgrade. She's a full item ahead of Tristana. You
Oh
don't
my
want to see
goodness.
her. You don't want to catch her in the middle of a jungle.
No, she catches you in the middle of the jungle.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, Jarvan is currently clearing his ground as there are 4 members of the Flash Forces in that side of the jungle. Set going into the Ornn here.
I think Ornn might win this.
Ornn is kind of winning this, yeah. Now the W is out as well. This does not look good for the set here. Ornn ult is available. Knock-up lands. W is still a little bit away. Here comes the Facebreaker. Now the passive is procced once again. And even before he can find the showstopper, he falls down to the ground. Tristana now here. And the Ornn, he's happy. He's like,
Ornn
come
wants
at
more,
me.
man. Yeah, he's ready.
He has Warmogs. Does he? He doesn't have 3,000 HP, does he?
No,
does,
they
he
changed
does.
Warmog, didn't they? It's like 1,000 bonus HP now, so you can go at second item.
True, you are correct indeed, my friend. And now we see another 1v1 taken by the Kai'Sa, and it's not just in a jungle where you don't want to find her. If you see the Kai'Sa on the map, do not 1v1 her. I repeat, do not 1v1 her. Another kill here coming in for the Flash Forces as they are really starting to run away with this game.
Sure, they're really they got a grip on this game. I don't like what can the Unicorns do to stop the bleeding?
This comp looks so bad from
Oh.
behind now. And the long-range Nautilus hook does actually manage to define the Trist, but it will be inconsequential as
Echo
she does
TP's
have the rocket
in.
jump available. I think this is
That was-
more of a priority TP. Let's be
Alright,
nice.
alright. Yeah. He was, yeah, sure. That's what we'll call it. But yeah, I mean, it's in red team's hands. You know, the Flash Forces, they've played well. They've rotated around the map really well, and now they are very much in the driver's seat to win this game. Like, to be honest, I don't even know if the War Unicorns are even in the car. You know, they're nowhere near the driver's seat at the moment. But we'll see.
Well, see, we will indeed. Now, here we have the Jarvan finally managing to secure some of the jungle camps. that the Flash Forces have been able to secure so consistently for them. But this time around, he at least manages to secure his red buff. And we have to talk about the bigger story about getting that red buff. It's not just the red buff, but also at least one avenue back into the jungle, meaning some vision coverage. Seth, do you want this?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Ornn wins this 1v2.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough at the moment. Seth has at least finished his first item, by the way. Seth has one item.
Yo, they might be looking for the dive here.
I think they're
Supporting.
looking for the turret, and... Okay, well, it gets mad, never mind. Well,
I really think Red can dive this if they go for it. Okay, maybe not with the Trist.
okay, well, now Jarvan is actually trying to go forward, and they get the TP on the flag. Now, this time around, we get the Kai's ult out of the Jarvan ult, and that means she picks up a double kill for herself. The next target will be the Tristana, who does fall to the Ornn. And the Nautilus doesn't even die to the Gravity Storm. This time around, it's just all red once again. Not even a single member falling. A perfect ace. And the game is just doomed.
Like, I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can here, but blue side have no towers. I mean, they have 2 Drakes, but like, at what cost? Each time they go for a Drake, they've lost the fight. It's desperation time, I think, for the War Unicorns. And I think, I mean, Tristana gets her Lord Dominic's. Once that comes in, I think maybe you can look to get a pick onto the Kai'Sa if there's some well-layered CC. Like, she gets caught out in the side lane, but...
Help. The set is building a Blade of the Ruin King.
He's going damage here. I mean...
Help. Someone,
I respect.
please.
No. I respect.
Just, no.
Listen, that is... Yo, did Boris get a buff, or...
Ugh. Ooh, bringing up the Boris on day 1 already. Okay, Kai'Sa wants another 1v1. Is the Victor gonna give it to her? No, of course not. He learned from the last time. Now the Baron is the next setup, as they have also tied the Dragon score 2 for 2 at the moment. There is absolutely no way that the United War Unicorns can manage to defend this. But at least they get the control word? Question mark?
I mean, there are no pings even. Do they know this Baron is being taken? No, I mean, maybe they just choose to just trade for bot tower. It's something. It's some gold, but you're clutching at straws here.
Clutching and grasping. And the only person that can grasp this game has been the Ornn, through which has been so much pressure. And even though the Jarvan had such a beautiful early start to the game, it is just red and gray for him this time around. Maybe look, Echo, once again, a little bit overzealous, flashes away as there's the dive up in the top side. Echo will be fine for now. Ult's back and actually manages to hit the ult onto the set. That does mean that he will find the first kill. He has the Noxious Tooth and not a Zhonya's, which will in the end lead to him falling down here. Some interesting item choices across the board, I'm gonna be quite honest. I am a little bit perplexed by some of the decisions made in the item columns.
You want to go into that a little more? I mean, I don't know what the Ludens is for me personally. I probably go Leandries, given how tanky they are, but I don't really play Victor. I think Tristana is fine. Jarvan, bro, he got like 80 ratio.
He doesn't even have a second item.
I'm gonna call it. Just go lethality, man. You're probably gonna be useless late game anyway with the amount of like.
Really.
I mean,
I think going lethality when you're behind is griefing.
Oh yeah, when you're behind, but like he had the lead early. His team had the lead, and he chose to first item Gore Drinker. I feel like if you're playing Jarvan, right, you're trying to snowball. If you don't one-shot these guys in your ult, I mean, your ult's not really gonna hold any of them in place, really, unless you're ulting the Nautilus or the Ornn, which you deserve to die at that point anyway in game. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
There's a very
But
good
yeah,
point that you're bringing up consistently about the fact that they can just ult out of the Jarvan ult. They can all just get out. It's so easy for these players on the side of the Flash Forces to not have to deal with the Jarvan. And even though I entirely disagree with going lethality on Jarvan, um, it's just really rough for him to play this game.
yeah. I don't know if Jarvan was the best pick.
Yeah, I liked it early, and it did good early. And,
I mean,
oh, how
true,
wrong
but
I was.
oh, here
Set
we go.
will go down to the Kai'Sa here. Echo finds the kill on the Jarvan, and these are just the finishing touches being put on by the Flash Forces on the United War Unicorns. A valiant first effort, a beautiful level 1 tactic, but sadly, the pure laning prowess coming out from the Flash Forces will be enough to secure them their first win of the opening tournament.
Wow. Well played. Well played. A well contested game early, but I think that, the Flash Wolves really showed their colors and, a competitive team, and they played it well, even from behind, and they did deserve to get that win.
Indeed, indeed. Well, that was a beautiful game. It was nice to see such a good comeback and something that we haven't really seen so far. They've been stomped, and this game even
Yeah.
was a little bit stompy, if we're going to be completely honest.
But it was a comeback story,
It was a comeback story, exactly.
The mentality of the Flash Forces was tested this game, and they rose above it.
Something that we had not seen before. So,
True.
I am looking for the replay of the second game that was played at this time. So, I have that with me right now. Saving it. Let's see if we can.
So yeah, getting into this second game.
Yeah.
What do we have? We have the unknown enemy versus Red Team 1. I mean, seeing as we're straight in the game, we see both team comps.
No,
What
we
do
can
you
look
think?
at the draft. We can look at the draft for a second.
Sure.
Just give me a second.
Of course.
Um,
We do have the draft.
how do we? What's the best way to do this? Figuring out that out as we go. The screenshot is a little bit scuffed. I will not lie to you.
I mean, in the meantime, I'll just say maybe a couple of things about.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's all good. You got them up. Okay, it's we can make it out. We can make it out.
We can
Let me
see
wait.
the transition here.
Perhaps that might work better. Oh no, that's just the same thing. Rip. Oh, there we go. It's fine now.
Okay, I think this looks good. I think I'm willing to show this to the general public. Good enough for the moment, at least. It's a little bit scuffed, but we're just working with what we have got for ourselves here. So, let's talk.
The B1 Jarvan. It's back. Here we go.
Okay, well, we said how good we thought Jarvan was, and they agree.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Zac on that team as well.
Yeah,
Is that a Zac top lane?
I think it is a Zac top lane.
Interesting. What is he facing? Looks to be the
set. But
Okay.
what do you think of the Insta Kai'Sa Leona? Another team that really prioritizing that Kai'Sa pick with a big CC support.
Yes. I don't know. People just think Kai'Sa's easy, I guess. Also, we have to say that the AD carry of... Oh, no, this is RT1 that picked the Kai'Sa, no?
Yes, and Jin was open, by the way.
Jin was left open. Oh my goodness. The player named Jin V4 did not pick Jin. That is a surprise.
I know. It's really good.
But his other most prioritized champion is Kai'Sa, so I don't think I'm hugely surprised about that. It does make me a little bit sad, because I think Kai'Sa's very mediocre.
Yeah. I mean, the Aphelios Lulu response. I really dislike Aphelios Lulu when you could have just gone Aphelios Thresh.
You make a brilliant point. But then again, Lulu's not bad into Leona.
Yeah, I agree.
and into Kai'Sa as well. So I think the response is okay, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think Aphelios Thresh is the much better rotation here.
It is the dream bot lane at the moment. I feel
Yes.
like if you can get it, you just get it.
Yeah. And then
But
the
yeah,
Nocturne for Sanix in the jungle.
Nocturne into Jarvan, fine. I think
I think that
honestly,
I think this is a good thing because I
yeah.
feel like a Jarvan oftentimes gets to a lane much quicker than a different jungler could, and Nocturne
Hmm.
sort of counteracts that by being able to
Yeah.
react so well. On the other hand, things that have to be said is if the Jarvan's communication from the team is good enough, then
Hmm.
there might actually be the possibility when the Nocturne ults that the Jarvan can get very quickly to the fight. So that is obviously uh, to
I
be
mean,
recognized. But it is Nocturne Galio.
yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. It's not just Nocturne. He's never gonna be by himself. It is. There's a Galio coming down on top of his head every single time,
And
and
then
that
as
is.
the last matchup, we have Galio Corki. We briefly mentioned the Galio into combination with the Corki.
Mhm.
How do we feel about this matchup?
I mean, it's
I
rangely
think Corki
melee.
wins this matchup pretty hard. I mean, obviously, Corki doesn't really win any matchup, but
Yeah,
he gets
that's
to scale pretty freely and deal a
yeah.
lot of damage
I
later
mean,
on to that Galio.
he's got to be careful though. The Galio like gank setup is really strong, but I think Corgi has like the abilities and the tools he needs to just avoid it completely. Like if he plays it properly.
Well, what do you see as a general trend coming out here from those two teams?
Uh, I think Red Team One is a quite a diverse comp. It can be very proactive. It can be very reactive.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. I think UE they have some good early pressure. They have some good engage, and they have two hyper carries late game
Do you see a lot
with a
of
Lulu.
lane priority coming out for them?
I think the Corgi. There's a world where he can get priority. Zach into set. I have no idea, to
I
be honest
think
with
I
you.
think Set Turbo wins that matchup. I think this
Okay,
is near unplayable for Zach.
we'll shortly find out. But I guess again, like you're picking Jarvan. It's a lot of this game is going to be down to how well Jarvan plays his early game, but you can't knock up Nocturne. Kai'Sa, like she doesn't have a dash, but she has the move speed buff.
We talked about how well Kai'Sa actually can react to the Jarvan in the prior
Yeah.
game.
But I feel like Aphelios should be able to get the better of the Kai'Sa, especially if you go the Aphelios route into the Jarvan knockup. I feel like that can be pretty devastating.
That is there is such a thing as trying to play for specific guns, but oftentimes
Mhm.
some of the worst failures just
Yeah.
find themselves in some gun combinations. A good Aphelios loves for the enemies to come into you, and
Oh
Galio
yeah.
and Nocturne are certainly going to be delivering that. Kai'Sa follow up, Leona to set the entire thing up, and the set just to like Batista bomb everyone in there. There's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of dive on towards that Aphelios, and having a Zac being ulted into you is not fun for anyone.
I mean, true, but if Zach comes in reactively, I think he can really make like, cause just for spreading out a team fight, he presses R and immediately like everyone is dispersed. So I think he can really interrupt what Red Team 1 are trying to do here.
Okay. Well, I think that we can look to load into game here as I try to sort out my overlays.
I'd be very surprised to see anything happening level 1. Very surprised.
Well, that is what we can find out now as we do start up the final game of today. Unknown Enemy versus Red Team 1. Let's see what they've got. This time, no big blob of any
Yeah.
team moving anywhere.
A very defensive setup from the Aphelios Lulu, by the way. I think that's very smart of them.
This looks like the classic 5-point pressure. Anyone that has ever tried to play in a team knows about this defensive line of scrimmage that is set up at every single stage throughout the river. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of pressure that are met and they are looking at each other. Both teams looking very defensive here, and that makes me think that there is a good amount of coordination coming out from both of these.
Something to note, though, is especially in that mid lane, there was the opportunity for Unknown Enemy to slip into one of those mid brushes through mid because Sanix actually didn't walk up far enough in the lane. But 2 5-point starts. I think that's to be expected in this kind of a game where you have two teams that kind of like they need their levels before they can really do stuff.
Well, I think Leona only needs level 2, but for the
I mean,
level
true,
1,
but yeah.
do you think that there's a worse level 1 fighter than Aphelios, like in the entire game?
Maybe Zaya, maybe, but Aphelios is pretty bad level 1.
I mean, he's not even like bad in lane, you know? He's like, he got the extra range, he got the sustain. He's not a bad level 1 champion per se, but his fighting level 1 is, in my, like, it's funny. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty useless. He can maybe go up for auto attacks, and I would really like to see the duo bot lane, like,
Ooh, the stun already landing up in top. So,
double ranged into ranged melee. I feel like blue side should definitely be getting level 2 bot lane first.
well, the Kai'Sa Q can secure some amount of priority.
This brush control from Looney here as well, by the way, is really keeping them at bay here. They're forced to ward it as well. They know.
She did start at Q level 1 though, and there's only one minion missing now for RT1 to actually secure their level 2 as well, after the side of Unknown Enemy has already secured theirs.
Sanix
Looney
actually
might be looking to just walk up to that minion, hit it once. No, she doesn't. She keeps the stack for the cannon minion, and now they do secure their level 2. Now the posturing of Unknown Enemy has to change compared to what it was just a second ago. Looney also walking outside of the bush, now acting as more of a threat, as Rickard seems to be really intent on pushing this bot lane in.
If he doesn't get this in, Nocturne is bot side. He chose to start top. This could be dangerous for Unknown Enemy here.
Gank. Come on, it's Nocturne gank.
I mean, true, but the fear into... They got a lot of CC that Aphelios is either forced to flash or cleanse. If you can burn early summoners, I think it's really good leading up to level 6s.
Oh my goodness, look where Rengo is. Rengo just cheater recalled. That is brilliant to see. Rango just cheater recall, but this will allow a completely free Scuttlecrab for the side of Webby here.
I mean, that's to be expected, though. They, like, I think RT1 know that they're just going to be going for bot crab. You can even see their mid laner hovering to the bot side. Like, I think they're just happy to give it and trade.
Nocturne is one of the champions that tends to find himself actually very welcome in these skirmishes. He's really, really good when it comes to those early skirmishes. Just a second ago, I said Lamau Nocturne ganks, right? But when someone goes in on Nocturne in these jungle scenarios, he's really comfortable. And he is now walking into a fully cleared jungle where Jarvan and Webby have already found themselves the first full reset and are now moving back out on the map and are going to have a little bit of tempo advantage. Zac and Seth
big minion wave
trading up towards the top side here. Ooh, and he procs the Conqueror with the proc of the W. That's a lot of extra damage that he's gotten there. Minion wave comes into him. There is absolutely no pressure from either jungler here. As Sanix has now been caught. We talked about him not getting the reset. However, Webby has already found it. Looney going in extremely aggressively here. Lulu dropping. As there is a TP that was cancelled by the set. Now Loon dropping. Even lower and lower. Rickard being the lowest of HP. And Kai'Sa finds first blood with the kill. That was beautiful by Jin V4.
No way,
There's no minion wave. There is no minion wave set up to properly dive this.
That's beautiful cover from the bot side.
Loon was looking for it there. She was dancing with the devil. And Jin V4 is playing pretty aggressively. I think they're comfortable here. They're seeing this wave state. It's pretty big for them, of course.
Gonna shove into them. If they just leave this and take a reset here, Rickard is he's in a really bad spot. But they opt to push, which is it's fine too if they can get it in.
I don't think they can, to be honest.
It's still pushing into them. It's okay. Good W again from the Kai'Sa.
Jin V4 is the newest member of the team coming out here and telling us, this is my team. This is now, these guys now play around me. And Sanix making that early commitment, even though we were talking about the tempo advantage that Jarvan had managed to secure himself. Aphelios with a couple of items, but a terrible gun combination. Oh, Lulu's already dead, and Rengo is just here to look pretty, I guess.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but I think in a world where he doesn't TP there, maybe Loon trade kills. But again, this
Sanix is
TP,
here. Sanix is
as long
here,
as-
and he is willing to square up. Loon now going forward onto the cleanser failures as Rengo is now
That's a
looking to
plan.
ult him back. He does hit level 6, but the W is not in time and
Oh.
not even up at all. So he will go down. Now the Zac passive has popped up here. Sanix autoed that minion once. That means that there might be a possibility for that Zac to revive, but he just smites him down. Cool, guys. Don't look at explosions.
But yeah, I mean, it's getting a little bit messy. Like, people just out of nowhere decide, you know what, we're just gonna fight. See what happens.
Woven trading onto Wengo in the mid lane here. Not too huge of a favor in either direction, but a bit of a CS lead for Woven King that has been very minor. Probably
I
the
mean-
most uninteresting state of the game.
Nocturne has a level 6 level lead here. This is, and Leona's hovering mid. There's some pretty solid potential for maybe an all in here.
Well, Nocturne has
Oh.
hit level 6.
I think Loon showed
Nocturne
there.
has hit level 6 though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then Zac passive is now down, which actually makes him extremely vulnerable. Nocturne also being quite low in HP means that probably there will be no immediate follow-up. However, he does heal quite a bit from this camp, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think the Jarvan's done enough so far in this game to?
Absolutely not. He's done nothing,
think-
basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he
I think-
tried, but it was unsuccessful.
I don't think there's a world where J4 can ever really get on top of the Nocturne because he just spell shields the knock up, right? And then after that, it's I straight no knock up Jarvan. I feel like the Nocturne goes the distance and wins that. So I feel like another game where the Jarvan is picked, but it's not. It's not a great pick in these games. I don't feel
Maybe
like.
I was too excited. Fine.
I know, I really wanna see it.
Fine. We'll go into the corner of shame. Well, the dragon has actually been started here, and if I move my
Blue
camera,
side are aware of it.
if I move my camera, I said, then we can see that Sanix and Loon are pulled out the dragon, and Jarvan has a ward inside the pit.
Yeah, he knows they're on it. And I guess he's just choosing to give. Which, I mean, in this situation, I don't blame him. But
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like this doesn't get any easier for Jarvan as the game goes on.
And that mid-game bridge. Will they actually manage to bridge the mid-game, which does look extremely rough for them? They've got early with the Jarvan, but then they have a mid-game trough that is very, very dangerous. And
Yeah.
RT1's comp does not look to slow down in mid-game at all. Trading
Oh
from
no,
the
this only
Zac.
gets worse.
Does he deny the cannon? No, he gets it with a W. But now the Zac had to ult. So
Zac and
Rengo
Matt
winning
is-
that matchup
yeah.
quite hard against.
Woven King is looking for some vision around mid.
When will the first Galio fall from the skies? We see that now they might be setting up a bit of a gank onto the onto Rengo, I should say. Wow.
Rengo. We got Rengo top lane and Wengu in the mid lane. It's a fun one.
It is, it is, it is. At least there's no Jhin in this game, because then it would get confusing again, as it did earlier in the TLC match.
No Ornn this game too.
Oh my goodness! I guess these guys
I know.
weren't watching the other drafts.
They don't know the power of the Ornn. Jeez. Woven
Also
King doing a really good
Herald.
job.
Look at
Yeah,
this!
Herald.
They're also securing Herald. Their bot lane is already rotated up. This is
Rengo's rotating down.
sluggish
This is-
from unknown enemy. They're just like behind on absolutely everything.
I mean, I think Red Team 1 are just playing at a pace that they just can't keep up with. Like,
It's so systematic.
yeah, it's like, cool, we're going to do Herald, bot lanes shove out, they go top lane rotates to bot. If they're smart now, they can slow push top wave and maybe even look for tower if their bot lane doesn't react. Let's see what they do.
And
They
the
off the hard
Galio still has his ultimate available. If there's any threat levied towards that bottom side, Galio just ults. And he
Yeah.
gets to TP back mid lane for free after getting the reset. And now the Rift Herald has dropped down. This is first turn. This is a breakneck pace of a game that we're seeing out here from Red Team 1.
I mean, they've put their Kai'Sa in such an amazing spot to just go around one-shotting everyone again. Like last game. Like, shut down, he's up 9 CS. He's ready, I think. After this base, I think he can maybe get his Q upgrade, and then from there he can just look to go.
Ooh, maybe a gank in mid lane, but Wengu has played the lane very respectfully so far. And as they walk over that ward, that will dissipate. Now they might still look for the dive, but there is 3 members, or 2 additional members, from the side of unknown enemy around here.
Aphelios is playing a dangerous game. If they find Lulu, Nocturne has ulti, and Aphelios is alone.
And the set has flash up. And with the set having flash up, that means you can basically guarantee a set R into a Galio R.
But it seems to have been sniffed out a little bit. Aphelios backs off.
Oh my goodness, look at where Woven King is going. He knows. He knows.
Some great macro here from RT1, honestly.
This is beautiful to watch. Now, Corki in base, and you know what that means. That means he picked up the package, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he does have it in hand. He TPs in. Loon looking for the solar flare, but doesn't actually find it. Now, Loon is in danger. He does have to flash up, and Sanix does have his as well. They flash away as the Jarvan now flash arcs forward. Loon going in aggressively onto the Corki, and Jin V4 finds himself in the middle of 5 members of unknown enemy.
That's a great
TP. A Kai'Sa that's been set up for success, finding herself in that position, that's criminal.
Loon just got caught out with no flash, and Kai'Sa just, you know what, decided, I want in on that too. We die as a team. Bot lane duo.
Loon flashed away at the start.
True, she couldn't get out in the end though, and then Jin V4 decided.
He died with
your brother.
Ult, flash, and heal available. Bit of a double move, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think he lives that from the position he was. Maybe he ults out, but like Zach just fucking chases him with an E, and it's just it's a bit sad for him.
It's a bit sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that, like the gold is virtually even again. The lead is pretty much gone. But we'll see. Red Team 1's macro has really been on point, so I expect to see them slowly gather up another lead, but that mispositioning in that team fight really let them down there.
I just saw that Jin V4 actually quit and reconnected. Maybe there's some sort of connection issue there.
Could be spectator, but yeah. Another Drake started up here, uncontested.
And the tempo advantage, even though that play did not go in their favor, still reigns true.
Sanix with a great smite there as well, as per usual from him.
Now both buffs are actually up for him. So the jungle lead that the Jarvan has in terms of that little bit of extra CS that he has at the moment is gonna be traded very quickly. And it might not be a terrible idea to even give the Kai'Sa already her first red buff of the game. We talked about how they're setting Jin V4 up in this game, and this would just go further into that vein. Galio being down the TP, but none of the members of unknown enemy have TP at the moment.
I really like this lane setup from Red Team 1. They're like, look, we're going to put our bot mid, standard stuff. We're going to send the Galio one side and set the other. Set as TP, Galio as ulti. So they can kind of really look to pressure mid here, knowing that they should know that they have TP advantages, and they should really be leveraging them.
Both AD carries are not even close to 10 CS a minute, so that's a little bit sad to see.
There's been a lot of fighting.
There's been a bit of fighting. Sure, but with the amount of rotations that we see.
This has been the tamest game of today.
Yeah. But that is because Red Team 1 is really feeling like they're in control. And they're trying to sort of slowly play it out.
They're playing the map really well.
Eke out the advantages instead of just coin flipping. Control wood over the ward here spots Rickard and Chunky One as they just cleared away, and that's 75 free gold for them. Well, 33 gold, but...
Now, I know the game's even, but we do have to talk about the map state as well. Tower top is gone, and 2 Drake stacked by 15 minutes. Kind of slowly... I feel like, even though the gold is relatively even, I think Red Team 1 are slowly edging them out of this game.
Well, but we wanted to see them really crush in mid-game, and the first mid-game fight we see has been entirely decided by the cookie package, and here's the mid-game fight that we did want to see, because Chunky One has already dropped down. Now Rickard has managed to secure himself quite a lot of shurikens with that red-white combination. Wolven King trying to flash out, but will in the end fall to the last turret shot that remains. Now there might be further aggression onto this turret. Jarvan looking to set up from the wings here, but they can't quite kill the turret. Now Rengo is coming in from the bottom side jungle. Will walk over that control ward, spotted out with a ward that he placed himself, and so more pressure dissipating.
I mean, honestly, this map control and vision control from Red Team 1 is really good. Like, Jarvan has been sat on a pink ward now for the last, like, minute. I think he's finally figured it out, but yeah, it's well played. It's well played. But, honestly, Unknown Enemy fighting back.
Well, they are fighting back indeed, as they are looking to engage onto Lune here, as Jin V4 uses a bit of a defensive ultimate to try to reposition him, and that allows him to free hit from outside of the Cataclysm. But Corki has managed to secure the package, and the members of Red Team 1 are lit on fire as they're burning down, and the Herald will go down to them.
Red Team 1, they used all their ultimates, they used all of their wombo in looking for that Lulu pick, that Aphelios pick. Really good from Unknown Enemy, saying, look, they have nothing here, we can just hard engage on them, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it.
The second Corki package has been, once again, completely changing the pace of the game.
This Corgi is, he's really putting in work for his team.
Something that they're clearly not respecting in how well they're, like, their pressure setup has been really good, they're transferring their leads around the map, they're looking for objectives consistently. But no one's talking about the Corgi package on their team. And that
this Corgi, yeah,
bit them in the butt twice.
I mean, Red Team 1 needs to understand that if they don't have, like, their ultis ready to go and they're looking for that engage, they don't have a whole lot of damage.
Do you feel like they win? Like, let's say all 10 ultimates are available. Do you think they win against the Corgi package?
Well, the Corgi Zac does a really good job of splitting up the fight. And RT1 really doesn't like that. But at the same time, Red Team 1 is looking to get, like, win fights through number advantages, through Nocturne ult and Galio ult, right? That's how I feel they win this game. But in a straight 5v5, if they can't blow up an important member instantly, it becomes really hard for them because they run out of fuel pretty quickly in these fights.
Yeah. Well, the Nocturne ult and the Galio are back available. The only ult missing at the moment is that Kai'Sa ultimate. That was used to nice effect in the last team fight, to be fair, as they're now looking to contest the vision as the Ocean Dragon spawns. We said that we were a bit of a mountain so broadcast here, but the Ocean Dragon has come in here to prove us differently. Looney taking a big one there.
Herald getting 2 charges there, by the way.
Ooh.
So that's very strong from them.
Nicely used.
Yeah.
Well, the Rengo does choose to go in here, and that's a huge Leona solar flare, and the Galio are on top of 5 people as well. Oh my goodness, Kai'Sa is free hitting from outside the Cataclysm again. Corki does manage to kill off the Leona, and it's still 4 against 4, even though the engage was so beautiful from the 2 of them. Now Zac goes in, tries to find the Galio, but the Galio is alive. Zac passive popped. Jin V4 still alive and healthy as he's getting aggressed on by the Jarvan. Flashes away, lands a last proc. Wolven King still alive, but tries to get away. He does manage to do so for the moment as the Zac tries to chase him with
Does Galio get away here?
And now Rengo finds the Corki, and Jin V4 is here to clean him up. Clean up Kai'Sa on the duty. Wolven King says, you guys wanted to kill me, and I have dodged absolutely everything that you threw at me.
What a team fight. Yo, that went the distance. But yeah, Red Team 1 really showing some good mechanics there, I think.
That solar flare was nuts.
That 3-man solar flare, my god.
I think Looney and Wolven King go out as heroes in that fight. And the positioning consistently by Jin V4. Always staying safe, and even in the situation where he gets on aggressed by the Jarvan, he has the flash up. He stays calm. He knows, okay, I can kill him here. I don't have to panic. He uses it perfectly, and it just goes in their favor. And then what Wolven King played with them a little bit. He played with them.
And now the thing is, Red Team 1 are on soul point. Unknown Enemy are forced to be around this dragon every single time it spawns, and I think that really plays into Red Team 1 hands because they know
Red Team 1 sees that, and they start setting up for the Baron now. The question is,
Like,
when is the next Corki
oh,
package? As
no.
we see, the next Nocturnaut is already popped. This time around, there's
Ooh.
good disengage from the Lulu Felios. And this is
The
a
solo
reason...
player mid. But yeah, well played.
I don't think the Solar Flare missed. I believe that he cleansed away from it.
Oh, did he? Oh, my bad.
I just see his cleanse down.
Oh, potential pick here. I mean,
No.
I'd be surprised, but
This is a little bit
Good
of
little
damage
trade.
traded. And
Yeah.
Rengo might even get a big W to even that trade out.
just top lane slap each
Big
other around a
set
bit. No.
moment.
But the no Nocturnal, no Leona ult. If there's ever like a window for unknown enemy to take a fight, I feel like it's now.
Well, I feel like it's around the package. Let's check in with the Corki package. Is there a way that we... I think it's in base, no? It is! It
pick it
is
up.
in base, and Corki does not have the teleport available. So, if he goes to pick up the package, I want to see Red Team 1 move backwards as a unit. There's nothing for them to fight over at the moment. However, they're deep down mid lane. This is a bit of a
Oh.
problem.
I mean, Nocturnal back up, Loon's ult
Corki
is
moving slowly. This has been a perfect recognition by Wengu here, who honestly is playing a fantastic game so far.
he's the heart and soul right now of unknown enemy. I feel like he's the difference maker in these fights.
Oh, but this time around the Lulu is back, and so the Solar Flare lands, and there's no cleanse available, and it's just brutal.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play an immobile 80 carry into Nocturne Leon.
I play so much Aphelios, and this is a pure feels bad, man.
Mm.
You see it go dark, and you're like, not again.
Here we
Not
go. My
again.
Lulu just went base. Oh no.
So now
Potential
maybe the
counter
Jarvan
hit?
actually finds himself in a pretty decent situation, but the numbers advantage coming out here from Red Team 1 might change that very quickly. Rengo
Back in.
stuck inside the Cataclysm as well, as Looney is still not dead. Rengo found by Wengu once again.
One in the end. Yo, this Corgi is getting big.
Yeah. And he's
It's a great
scaling.
engage though, for Zach. Honestly,
Yeah.
like knowing that he lives that is really strong from him. Like he played that really well.
True. And also earlier in the fight that they didn't end up winning, we saw that they actually played around the Zac passive very nicely too, with TP on there. I mean, it was a game of inches, right?
Wait.
This is a great game to watch because I love seeing these two teams go head to head. These feel very evenly matched, and there's a lot I think that both teams can take away from this, and there's a lot that both teams can be happy about.
I mean, it's also good to know Corki didn't use the package there.
Yeah.
He's holding this for this next Drake, I feel like. This is going to be a big Drake.
He's
for him.
waiting in base. He has the TP available. He knows his exact situation.
Like, Corgi can get a good package in and not get blown up.
But the
I
Drake
mean-
is a minute away. Is he
Yeah.
going to sit in base for a minute?
I have no idea. I feel like he really... Okay, he's getting out on the map now. Did he pick up the package?
No, he's very slow.
Perhaps looking to base, pick up the package and TP somewhere. Maybe that's what he's...
Yeah, but he's like he's even drawing snakes on the ground with his movement. He's so indecisive about what this is.
He's thinking it out. He's thinking it out. Lulu walking up pretty aggressively, has his team to back him up, so that's fine.
Well, and they are here to clear the vision this time around. They know the Corki is in base. So Corki did the Jizuke where he went up for a single wave and then reset. Which is acceptable in a situation like this where you have to be the difference maker. Are there good flanking wards? I see one good flanking ward positioned for the side of unknown enemy that the Corki could take. And that is the bush right above here. That is the one that they should look for. Now the Corki is coming in with a package without the TP as Rengo is already moving forward. The Galio heroic slam comes in and the Corki lands a big package in the backline, but Jin V4 is untouched from it, and that means he gets to free fire. And so Corki is just the last one left in the fight, flashes over the wall as the Immortal shield bow is procced, and they flash after him and they find the kill. Now this fight was pretty much the last leg that unknown enemy was standing on, because this is Ocean Soul. This isn't just the Cloud Soul. This is the most important soul that you could possibly get. You think they go for Baron afterwards?
I mean, I think there's a world where they can do it. They choose not to, which is fine. But yeah, Soul plus like I feel like Red Team 1 is ahead enough to the point that they can one-shot whoever they want now. And if a fight goes long, they have Ocean Soul. They should just win out.
Woven King
So-
is having an absolute banger. Both these mid laners really, really, really having great games for themselves, yeah.
I agree, but I actually think a lot of credit has to go to Loon in this game. Her ults have been pretty impeccable.
Tremendous, yeah. Sometimes, 3-man solo fight, how often do you see that?
Yeah, that was nuts.
And also the
Between-
force with which they sometimes engage is just so nice to see, because
Dude.
they're on the same page in those scenarios. They're like, they pick the comp that wants to go in, and they're going in together as they start up the Baron for themselves. Unknown enemy isn't even close, man. Corki does have TP, but what is he gonna TP for?
Yeah. I feel like RT1's turn is super good. Rango's just like, hey, I'm going in.
Ringo
Everyone
says
can
hello
follow.
to the Jarvan, dunks the Jarvan back into
There
the
you go.
Aphelios, then the Aphelios is trapped inside the
No.
Cataclysm by his own Jarvan, and
That's
the Galio
disgusting.
comes in as the Demacian standard.
That's really well played from Rengo, though, I think. The zone away, and then ults into 4-man, sets up the Galio as well, and then everyone else just piles in on top, right? It's just
They
and
trap
maybe-
the Aphelios and the Jarvan ult. You hate to
Yeah.
see it.
a bit of a communication issue, maybe, but it happens. And Red Team 1,
Are they looking to end here? This looks like an end to me. This is
Yeah.
decisiveness. A 27-minute game, not a stomp, but a convincing game in a fashion that is very, very nice to see. This is a well thought out team, and this looks like I want to watch more SLE. This makes me excited. This makes me so excited.
That was just the macro performance. That game has to be commended. Honestly, I think they played this really, really well. But yeah, it was really close. Ultimately, though, Red Team won with some great engages. They just run away with the game.
Well, that was the first day of SLE. How do you feel?
Woof. I mean, I feel like we're gonna be seeing a lot more of Ornn. That's what I feel. Talking about the our own little meta developing, but yeah, I feel like there's gonna be some strong competition in this league. I feel like teams have shown that there's gonna be some really strong macro teams have really like put their mark and really like trademarked their own way of playing here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, for example, Red Team 1, they play the map extremely well, and they use that lead to really stretch teams and to beat them out over time. I feel like there are teams that are just like, look, we're gonna out micro you guys, and we're just gonna win. And
You think that's the
really
case with
like-
Flash Forces?
Yeah.
Do you think
I
Flash
really like the
Forces really
diversity.
fits that sort of like,
Yeah.
oh, we're the really crazy micro team. We're just gonna beat you in lane.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the diversity is good, and I think we've got some great things to look forward to.
I think so as well. I am unbelievably hyped for what will happen in the future of the SLE. That was just the first day. That was the first day of a long tournament. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. As a final note, I think we'll listen to the anthem once more because it is
True.
just sick. God, I love it so much.
We'll see everyone same time, same place tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yes,
4
sir. Back at
p.m.
it again.
CST tomorrow. Yeah. See you then.
I can feel you in my heart, you in my arms. Oh, I can hear your voice, I can hear you through the silence, through Bye.